everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be finishing these biscuits in here. So we've got 4 to do. I think we're going to start with this little one here, so I'll go ahead and zoom you in and we'll get started. So first, going in with jasmine yellow, I'm going to make a start on the actual biscuit itself. So I want this to be quite a light biscuit, so I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on this and just go ahead and add some colour in. I'm going to go around the little details on here as well. And I just want to say a big thank you to everybody that's subscribed to my channel. I recently hit 1,000 subscribers, which I can't believe. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. It's really nice that you guys are actually subscribing to my channel and enjoying my videos, which is great. So thank you very much. Next, going in with ginger, I'm going to add some shade to the biscuit. So I'm going to start by adding some shade just behind these decorative patterns. So I'm just going to go all the way around these on this edge. And then I'm going to add this colour all the way along this edge here, just to darken this side up. Again, I'm still using light pressure. And then I think we'll add some in here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just add a bit more pressure just to this very edge here, because I want this edge to be the darkest. Now going back in with jasmine yellow, I'm going to go ahead and go over this and blend it all together. So I'm just using normal pressure for this part. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest of the biscuit with this as well. So just darken it up a little bit, add a bit more pressure. Next, going in with camel brown, I'm going to go ahead and sort of blend out this line a little bit better. So I'm just going to use light pressure here and just start to fade this colour out a little bit nicer. And you can add it on top of the ginger as well. And I think we'll add a little bit just around this edge here. And then I'm just going to go back in with jasmine yellow and go ahead and go over that. Next, going in with rose red, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the little dots on here. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and just fill these in so they're nice and bright red. Next, taking spring green, I'm going to go ahead and make a start on the leaves on here. So what I'm just going to do is fill these in just with normal pressure, and then I might add a bit of a shade to them after. We'll see how they look. And next, going in with spearmint green, I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow just into the very bottom part of these leaves. So I'm just going to do little up and down motions and just add a little bit of shadow to the bottom of each one. And I'm just using normal pressure again for this. And that's our first little biscuit done. Okay, so moving on to this one, I'm going to go in with sapphire yellow, and I'm going to make a start by filling in this little section here, because I'm going to make this look like a bit of a lemon, so that we've got like a lemon flavoured biscuit. So I'm just going to go in with a base coat of this colour because it's quite a light yellow, and just run that along there. And we'll add it to the rind as well. Then going in with lemon yellow, I'm going to add some shadow to this. So I want to darken up these edge bits here because this I feel like would be a bit darker. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and fill this in, and the rind as well. We'll darken that up. And this little piece here. And then I'm going to leave the lighter colour in the little segments so it looks like the little segments are a little bit lighter. Next, taking turmeric yellow, I'm going to make a start on the biscuit. So I'm going to go in and do a base coat on this biscuit here. So just light pressure and add some colour down. And then I'm going to take it along this bottom edge. Then going back in with camel brown, I'm going to use this as our shade colour. So I'm going to add a bit of shade here from this lemon. And then just lift the pressure to blend that out. Do the same here. We'll add some to this little corner section here. And over here. And just leave like a lighter patch in the middle. Just going to add a bit more shade up here and just bring this right out to this line. Then I'm going to go back in with turmeric yellow. I'm going to go over where we added the camel brown. I'm just going to bring this up this edge and then lift the pressure. Then going in with our cream pencil, I'm going to go ahead and go over this lighter part here that we left, just so that it's a little bit lighter, so it looks like it's got a bit more of a highlight. Then going back in with sapphire yellow, I'm going to do a base coat on this little bit of icing here. And then taking lemon yellow, I'm going to go ahead and darken up the bottom sections of this. So I'm just going to use more pressure at the bottom and then lift the pressure as you come towards the middle of the sections. And do the same for the top. So that we're left with just a little natural highlight in the middle. Then I'm going to go in with my Posca pen and I'm just going to add some little lines into the lighter segments just to make it look a little bit more like a lemon. And then I'm going to go over the dots on this icing just to hide these. And then we'll go over this line here that Rita's drawn in, because that's where we left our highlight. And then I'm going to go ahead and cover up these little dots again. Okay, next we're going to move on to this one, and I want to do a pink bow. So I'm going to go in with pink macaroon as our base colour, and I'm just going to put this all over the bow itself, so even where it sort of ties around, just go ahead and add a light base coat to this. Then going in with fruit punch, we're going to add some shadow to our bow. So the first thing I'm going to do is shade here where the bow would be casting a shadow on itself. And I'm just using light pressure for this as well, just so we can mark out where we want it to be. Go ahead and add some shade to this side of the bow, because this would be casting a shadow on itself. Same for this one. And then under here would be in shadow. And this section here. We'll add some in here. Along here. And then in the middle, I'm going to add some to this side. We'll add some here where the bow creases, and then just lift that up a little bit. Do the same for this one. And then here would be a little bit darker. And I'm just going over now and just darkening up the bits that I want to be the darkest. And then I'm going to go back in with pink macaroon and start to blend this all together nicely. So I'm just going to go over with normal pressure and fill this in. If you find your blend line is a bit too harsh, you can just go back in with fruit punch and just use really light pressure and just take it a little bit further down, and that way you won't get such a harsh blend line. So I'll go back in with pink macaroon again and completely fill this in. And then I'm going to go back in with fruit punch and just touch up anywhere that I want to look a little bit smoother or even a little bit darker. So like here, I'm just darkening this up and then lifting the pressure to make sure it blends out nicely. So I'm going to darken this edge up as well. And then again, lift the pressure. Down here we want to be darker. We'll just go over our little lines again, just to make sure that they stand out nicely. So next, going in with raw sienna, I'm going to make a start on filling in the actual biscuit. So again, I'm going to use light pressure and put this colour down first. I thought if we make this a darker coloured biscuit, then it'll really make the bow stand out. So that was my plan. Then going in with burnt umber 306. I'm going to add some shade to this. So what I want to do is sort of shade along the edge of the bow to make it look like it is standing up a little bit further from the biscuit. So I'm just using a bit more pressure on this bit up here, and then as you come away, just lift the pressure. So we'll do the same here. So this bit here would be casting a bit of a shadow. So we'll darken this line up here, and then just blend that out. In here would be a little bit darker, so we'll add some shadow in here and then blend that out. We'll add some here from the bow. This bit here would all be a bit darker, and in here we'll add a little bit of shadow here. And then just in this little section here. And we'll add some in here too. Then I'm going to go back in with raw sienna and go ahead and fill this in and blend everything together nicely. Then going back in with our Posca pen, I'm going to add the highlight to the top of the bow. So I'm just going to go over the line that Rita's added to the top edge of the bow, just so that we've got a nice highlight at the top. And I'll do the same for this little one in the middle. And then I'm going to add some highlight onto this corner, because that's where the lightest part would be. And then we'll just add a couple of little dots there and a little highlight to that bottom corner as well. Okay, next, making a start on this one, I'm going to go in with jasmine yellow, and I'm going to do a base coat on like the edge of this cake. And this kind of looks like, I think they're called frangipans, and they have like white icing on the top. I think that's what they're called. Let me know in the comments if I've got that wrong. So I'm just doing a base coat all the way around the edges. And then also I'm going to do the cake sections in the middle with this colour as well, because it tends to match the outside edge. Next, I'm going to go in with turmeric yellow, but I'm going to use very light pressure with this because I don't want it to be too dark. And I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of extra colour around this bottom edge where it meets the cake. And then I want to use this to darken up the edges of these inside sections as well. So I'm going to take it around the edge and then fill in a little bit of the corners and then just run it along where the icing is so that we're just left with a light patch in the middle. So I'm going to do the same for this big one as well. Fill in the edge and fill in the edge on this side and then just run this along the back of the icing. Then I'm going to go back in with jasmine yellow and go ahead and darken all of this up. So I'm just going to use a bit more pressure, go ahead and fill this all in. Then we can see how the shade is looking, whether it needs to be a little bit darker. Okay, and I think it does need to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to go back in with turmeric yellow and just add a little bit more pressure just to darken it up a little bit more. Does that look any different? Does in real life. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Well, I will continue. Then going in with fog grey, which is quite a light grey colour, I'm just going to go ahead and darken up the tops and bottoms of the icing, because I want to keep this white, but I want to make it look like it has got a little bit of a shadow on it. And this is just a really light grey colour, so you can get away with using this one. Then going back in with our Posca pen, we're going to do some highlights. So I'm going to go over these little black lines that Rita's drawn all around the edges, because this is where our highlight is. And then I'm going to go over the icing, so the lines on the icing. And that's our little frangipane finished. So we just need to add some highlights to this one. So I'm going to go ahead and add a highlight just here. And then I think I'm just going to add a little dot of highlight to these berries and to these little leaves just on the outside edge. And that's our last 4 little biscuits done. So that is how the page is looking so far, you guys. So next time when we come back, we'll do the surrounding border, and that'll be this page finished. So I hope you guys have really enjoyed this video so far. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.